Hey y'all, Creations by Courtney here with a Tunisian crochet tutorial specifically for the clover stitch. Isn't this just beautiful? I just love the texture that is created, and it's almost like a lace pattern, and it is so fun. And so this sample here is made in a DK weight, and for the tutorial I'm going to be using a bulky weight cotton with an 8mm crochet hook. So we're going to start with an odd number. I've already chained my 19, so if you need to, pause the video so you can get your starting chain. Again, make sure it's an odd number. And once you have your starting chain, as always, we're going to start in the second chain from the hook. We are going to insert our hook. I always like to work in the back bump. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. Okay, now we're going to yarn over. You're going to skip the next chain and work into the next one. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. So the yarn over counts like making a chain stitch in standard crochet where we skip this. So we're going to repeat that all the way across. We're going to yarn over, skip the next chain, and then pull up a loop into the next chain. So continue that until you get to the end. Don't forget to skip after the yarn over. And when you get to the end, you're going to have one stitch left, and you're just going to insert your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Okay, we should have 19 loops on our hook. Sorry for the slapping of the cable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Fantastic. So you always want to check to make sure that you have the same number of loops as what you started with. All right, and so standard return pass. We're going to yarn over and pull through 1 or make a chain 1, okay? And then yarn over, pull through 2, all the way across. All right, so we have our first row. Doesn't look like a whole lot, but we're working on it. Okay, so for row 2, now this is a 2-row repeat. We will be repeating row 2 and row 3. So for row 2, we're actually going to start with a yarn over. Okay, and we're going to skip this vertical bar, and we're going to make a modified Tunisian simple stitch. So this bar here, this is from the yarn over from the row below, right, where we skipped the chain. So we're going to insert our hook under, and then this is a chain stitch. Okay, do you see this? The top, the bottom of the chain stitch from our return pass. So the modified Tunisian simple stitch, we go under the yarn over and the top loop of the chain. Okay, let me do that again. So a modified Tunisian simple stitch, we go under the yarn over and through the top chain. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Okay, so again, this yarn over, that skips this vertical bar of the row below. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, skip the next vertical bar, and we're going to use this yarn over in this top chain to make a modified Tunisian simple stitch. And again, it's modified because rather than going under the bar, we're going under different spaces. Okay, and that's all there is to it for the row. We're going to repeat that. Yarn over, skip the next vertical bar, modified Tunisian simple stitch. And actually it's more like, if you like to follow along with written directions, definitely look down below in the description to find a link to the tutorial. All right, and when we get to the end, we're going to yarn over. We have our end stitch, which we always flip to the side, and as you see, you have the front and a back loop. So insert your hook under both loops like so, yarn over, pull up a loop. Okay, and now we just make our standard return pass. So chain 1, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way to the end. All right, now we have row 2 complete. And as you can see, it alternates, and that's what creates that leaning. When we look at a finished swatch, this is what creates like the little leaning bumps, right? Is because we're alternating where we make our yarn overs and our simple stitch. Okay, so for row 3, again, we always skip the first vertical bar. And so we have a yarn over in the top chain. So we're going to make a modified Tunisian simple stitch. So insert your hook under both loops, yarn over, pull up a loop. We're going to skip this vertical bar, so we yarn over. Now make a modified Tunisian simple stitch. So again, the yarn over in the top chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, skip the next vertical bar, modified Tunisian simple with the yarn over in the top chain. All right, yarn over, skip the vertical bar, modified Tunisian simple stitch. So continue until you have 1 stitch remaining. All right, and we have 1 stitch remaining. That's our end stitch. Again, if you need to, turn your work so you see both loops of that chain. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and now make your return pass. Alrighty, do you see it taking shape? Ah, you can. So if we follow the vertical bars, right, it's leaning. Now, if you're using a hook that is slightly smaller, so one thing I noticed when working with this yarn is that the fabric may lean a bit. So if your fabric is leaning, blocking will help straighten that out, or you can go up in hook size and that will prevent the loops from pulling this way from the modified Tunisian simple stitch. So we're just going to repeat rows 2 and 3. So quick overview, row 2, we have a vertical bar. So that means we're going to skip it with a yarn over and then modified Tunisian simple stitch using the yarn over in the top chain. So yarn over, skip the next vertical bar, modified Tunisian simple stitch. All right. And make your return pass. All right, and now we'll repeat row 3. So we start with a modified Tunisian simple stitch. So again, we always skip the first one, yarn over, skip the next stitch or vertical bar, modified Tunisian simple stitch, yarn over, skip the next one, modified Tunisian simple stitch. So repeat that until you have 1 stitch remaining, where you will then work your end stitch. All right, 1 stitch remaining, and now work your end stitch. And now make your return pass. Chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, so as you see, the pattern starts to form. This is so fun, really easy to get going once you know where to put your hooks, and once you have made your piece as long as you want or need if you're following a pattern. And yes, there's a pattern coming next week, so now's the time to practice. When you want to bind off, I chain 1 and then slip stitch into each stitch. Okay, so working under the vertical bar, make a slip stitch. I insert in the same way as the modified Tunisian simple stitch to make my slip stitch. And I just do that all the way across. You could do something different if you like. You don't have to go through the yarn over and the top chain, but it does provide a nice way to close the stitches and it keep everything looking consistent. And there we go with a bind off. So I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial for the Tunisian Clover Stitch. Again, remember, start with an odd number. Remember where to put your hook for that modified Tunisian simple stitch. And if you need pictures and written support, make sure you hit hit that link down below. That will take you to my website where I have all of that set up for you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on upcoming crochet tutorials, fabric fashion stylings, and anything else that I may talk about related to crochet. Keep stitching!